Well, how much of it should I tell? Well, she was watching a marathon of The Walking Dead.
Jason's my go-to person for texting, whether I'm watching the show, a marathon, or listening to his podcast. He always knows when I'm listening to his podcast because I'll just start texting
She'll
him.
start arguing with me. You're not right about this.
Nice.
And so she started texting me these mind-blowing things about the timeline that you can only figure out when you're watching all the episodes back to back. I'm just going to give one example and then I'm going to let you take it. But for example, like that, what was the thing about Rick and Jesse? Rick killed Jesse's husband.
Yeah, he kisses her like 5 days after he killed her husband in front of him.
And then she dies like the next night.
And then she dies like, the next day. Her, Sam, and Ron die.
And these like this episode that we just saw this week took place a month after last week's episode I read. But I think I think usually this show packs so many episodes, like it can take a couple of years just to cover a very short amount of time. So anyway, I'll stop talking. Cindy, let us know what you found out.
Okay, so I was watching the marathon, and it prompted me to start, while I was watching it, also do some research. And so I used a couple different websites to help me with the days, but also while watching it, I could see the truth in a lot of this. When we watch it in real time and we have to wait from 1 week to the next, and sometimes there's a mid-season hiatus, God, it feels things take forever, right? You're like, our group has been apart forever,
and Maggie's never showing her pregnancy.
One of the biggest things is, people always complaining that Maggie never showed. Well, from the time we find out that Maggie's pregnant to the end of last season, which then we know between last season and this season, there's an 18-month time jump. So forget that. But from the time we find out she's pregnant to the end of last season was 70 days.
And when did we find out she was pregnant? At what season?
It was season 6, episode 1.
So it was
Carter dies.
2 years.
Yes.
3
years. Because it was 6, 7, and 8.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that was 70 days. It covered in 3 years of.
So that's about two. That's about 2 months and a week. And I have a niece right now who's pregnant for the very first time, and she's super little and skinny. And we've been teasing her because she's like literally hasn't shown until like the 7th month, and even now she has to basically pull her top up or pull her top close to her body to really accentuate the bump for us to even see it. If she has clothes on, you can't even see it. So we keep joking about like my food baby is bigger than her baby.
Yep. So after a trip to the taqueria.
I just got that from last night's dinner.
Right. Another one that really blew my mind when watching the marathon and then looking it up was Herschel dies in the mid-season finale of season 4. Beth dies in the mid-season finale of season 5. So that's an entire year apart for us to view it. It was an entire year apart probably for them to film it. She dies 10 days after Herschel.
Whoa.
10 days.
Mind blowing.
So
that's crazy.
When you think about Maggie reaching the place where Beth was just moments, just too late to see her alive, and she falls to the ground. She just witnessed her father die 10 days ago, and then this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that to us, but
no.
Yeah.
There's a couple of seasons, season post the prison. So 2 really good examples is when the prison falls and our team is split up, and then when they're getting the zombies, the walkers, the Zeds, what have you, out of the quarry, and the horn starts blowing back in Alexandria, and our team splits up again. There's a lot of episodes that we watch 7 days apart and are waiting for that literally cover just the same day.
Oh, wow.
Because you're seeing this group, and then you see that group, and then you see that group, and it's what's happening to each of them on the same day.
Wow.
So
that's insane.
It really is.
So what are some of the things that happened all in the same day? The wolves.
So and some of the things I'm almost like, and some of your listeners may be writing in and going, she's totally wrong about this. So some of the, like I said, I tried
unclear,
just in watching it myself, and then I'm trying to do some research on the internet. I use the Walking Dead wiki, and they have a lot of information on there, and whether or not their information's right or wrong, But a lot of it made sense as I'm watching it in a marathon setting. But one of the things that did seem a little off was that basically that horn goes off when the wolves are invading, right? Because they crashed that truck into the wall, into the church and the wall.
Yeah,
right?
You're right. Okay.
And then later, that steeple falls into the wall and crashes through the wall, which makes the walkers invade, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That seems like that should have been at least a couple days apart, right?
That's when Carl got shot in the eye, and Jesse died, I think, right? And
yes,
they all
that night
fought back all the walkers, yeah.
Yeah. So, according to some of the research I did, that may have happened in the same day. Like the horn blowing and the wolves attacking in the morning, and the steeple falling on the wall later before evening.
Is that true for the comic? Does the comic do this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
can.
It's pretty quick.
It varies, yeah. You can have a bunch of issues that if you looked back, it would be really close together, and then they'll do time jumps.
I mean, I'll just go through real quickly. Like, season 1 is 5 days long.
Wow.
Season 2 is 18 days long. Season 3 is 21 days long, but that happens, there's a 7-month jump between season 2 and season 3 because Lori's pregnancy, she's about to have the baby, but then season 3 is 21 days long. And then they take like a 6-month break, and season 4 is 11 days long, and season 5 is 36 days long. So we're only like 2 years into the apocalypse, if that, maybe a year and a half, by the end of season 8, which accounts for Judith not aging very much, but doesn't account for how much Carl grew.
Mutant growth spurt.
Growth hormones.
So the time that we have Negan, which took place all of seasons 7 and 8, was 30 days. So the whole conflict with Negan, which seemed to go on forever and ever, was 30 days.
1 month.
That's crazy.
The time from, I said 30 days from when Negan kills Glenn and Abraham until when Rick slits his throat under the tree is 30 days.
Wow, man. They really drew that fucker out.
Yeah. And
yes, they did.
Alexandria, them arriving at Alexandria was 34 days after the prison fell. So if you think about everything that happened after the prison fell, and all of our groups were divided and lost and trying to find each other, and they ultimately end up at Terminus, and then Terminus happens, and then after Terminus they're all back together, and then they find Father Gabriel, and then they're like starving on the road for a little while before Aaron finds them and then brings them to Alexandria, and that was 34 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
that feels more close to being right, because going from community to community.
But when you look at Carol, Rick banishes Carol, and then Carol comes back. She sees the prison fall.
That was like
the next
30
day.
minutes.
Yeah, it was the next day.
No
and
way.
Then
short banishment.
That is insane. Carol was only gone for 1 day, and we all felt sorry for her after she killed Karen and David. Wah, wah, wah.
And then she's reunited with Rick after Terminus.
And they're all like weepy,
later.
like, "Oh, there you are!
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in so long. It was like yesterday."
7 days after the prison fell. So basically, between the time the prison fell and they are all in Terminus is about 6 days. Maggie and Glenn reunited on day 3.
Wow, that's so funny. So when they're writing it, they're probably trying to consider the actual time passed, but also they're taking into consideration how much time has passed for us and what the appropriate emotional response would be if they'd been apart longer,
Right. Now, some of the stuff in that whole, I think it's season 6? Yeah, so season 6, a little confusing because when it starts, there's 0 time between the end of season 5 and season 6. But that first episode of season 6 is the one where they kept going back and forth between black and white and color. So they were showing like...
With the quarry.
Yeah, the quarry. And so there was like a few days in there. That was supposedly about 5 days between like finding the quarry and then trying to deal with it and then the horn going off. But then that whole thing with the wolves invading and, you know, Glenn ends up with Nicholas in that town with the dumpster, and Rick is running, and Abraham and Daryl and Sasha are somewhere else. Like all of that is happening allegedly in one day. So I'm a little skeptical of that, with Glenn and Enid finally arriving back like that evening. And, you know, Maggie was so distraught with that Glenn wasn't back yet. Well, if he was really only gone one day, the way things work in that universe, because, you know, you go out scouting or you go out scavenging or you go out, you might not be back for a couple days. You might run out of gas and have to walk back on foot.
She's just worried.
For her to have been like that worried and then that relieved to see the balloons and like, wait a minute, that's the same day. I'm thinking maybe it wasn't the same day. Maybe it was a couple of days.
They feel things deeply.
Right.
If David goes out for like milk and doesn't come back for a couple hours.
30 minutes.
Right.
30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sobbing when he comes home.
I know.
Thank
Sending
God.
up the
Thank
green
God.
balloons.
Back. Now, I will say, when Heath and Tara leave after they've killed the saviors at the outpost, and they say that they're leaving on a 2-week run, when we see them again, which I think it goes from like episode 12 of season 6 to about episode 6 of season 7 is when we finally see those two again. And according to the timeline, that is 2 weeks. So
Good.
they nailed it right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm glad it wasn't like a half an hour.
Okay.
Right. So it really helped to like look at that timeline in the Walking Dead wiki, and I just kind of made my own Google Doc of it and then counted the days. But it was it was fun. And then I was so excited I had to like share with somebody. So of course I texted Jason.
So here's me and Karen and a few thousand other people. So Karen, have you gone back and watched the early episodes recently?
I have in the past, but it's funny because when you're saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
there was somebody named Lori.
Right, I know. I haven't actually really
Merle.
for years. Like I feel like I want to go back and just so I can compare the style and the quality and everything. But in Atlanta in a couple of weeks, we're doing an OG crew panel with John Bernthal, Sarah Wayne Callie, Chandler Riggs.
That's going to be great.
Lori Holden.
Fun.
So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Irony.
That's
Old
nice.
school.
You should have them all tell what their favorite Herschel Scott Wilson
Stories.
memory
That's a
is.
great
Yeah.
idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Cindy, thank you so much. When you started
you
texting me
guys.
that, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to have her come talk about this because it's really fun.
And I was like, oh, I would be glad to.
Cindy, you rock. Thank
You guys
for coming
rock.
on.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
Talk to you soon. I'll see you in Atlanta.
I'll see you soon.
Have fun, honey.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, awesome. Let's get into our Deadcast Top 5.
Let's do it.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
That's 8
RJ.
years later, and it still gets a giggle out of us.
Gets a giggle.
So almost 9 years. Holy shit. Anyways, it is our Deadcast Top 5 this week. It's our top 5 highlights for season 9, episode 2, The Bridge. Did
Bridge.
you like it?
I did. I
Cool.
did. I gave it a solid 7.6 out of 10 brains.
Wow, you're switching up to the 10-point scale all of a sudden out of the blue, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how I roll, pal.
Just unpredictable.
I really liked it. I thought it had a little bit of everything that I like. It had lots of character development, and it had the pacing is good now. Angela King seems to be moving the story along, as we've alluded to with Cindy. There was some good Zed action. Yeah, I liked it. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought whenever I saw the elements that seemed like kind of Sim City, where you have to figure out how to balance, how to rebuild, organize, and maintain a society.
Yes.
I bet you Karen's gonna like this. I don't know.
love all the SimCity stuff. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the logistics are like, okay, I would like to sign up for all of that.
I mean,
good
they
stuff.
did it. Me too. You know what? I like it because it makes it feel a little more real. And
Yep.
But I think it was fun how Ezekiel was teasing Henry about thinking that was boring and saying, comparing it to Rome and how this is, society and all this stuff. And I think that was a little bit of a message from the writers to us, like, hey, this is important stuff. But they balanced it out really well with, a lot of romance, like more than we usually get on The Walking Dead.
Some kissing.
Yeah, plus our typical conflict and zombie and gore and all that stuff. So it's not just that stuff, but adding it in really adds something to me, I think, too. I like it.
All right, that's
Number
good.
5.
All right, pal. First, I'm going to say Rick's narration as a bookend to the episode. And I thought it was a nice storytelling device. I kind of liked it.
Did you know who he is talking to?
Nope, I didn't.
Did you suspect?
No, honestly, to tell you the truth, I did suspect. I suspected he was talking to the grave of Carl, or a picture of Carl or something. I did not think he was speaking to Negan.
I did.
Did you? You got that?
I mean, I wasn't sure because they weren't showing it. I'm like, why won't they show it? And now I think it's like because the writers are like, we really can't show that much Negan because people hate him, so we'll only show him a little, and he'll just be in the shadows.
In the shadows. Yeah, exactly. Some people I read thought it was pretty obvious that he was speaking to Negan, but I guess I'm kind of dim because I did not guess that.
No, I don't know. I mean, if you read the comic, you know that Carl is the one who goes down into Negan's cell and talks to him. And that's one of the big reasons why when Carl died, I was bummed, because these scenes in the comic are great because it's like this kid is going down there without his dad knowing and talking to Negan, and you're wondering, oh shit, how is Negan gonna manipulate him, right? So it's not quite the same effect when it's Rick, but it's a different effect.
Right. And it's funny too because Rick is sort of being a stand-in for Carl. He's very hopeful, like Carl always wanted to impart to Rick. So it was sort of Carl speaking to him through Rick.
I almost felt like Rick is coming from, I mean, who knows where that fit in the timeline of the episode, but things are starting to unravel, and he's going in there and not talking about that at all. He's just talking about what a great success it is.
Yes.
And I feel like it's more to rub it in Negan's face.
Yes, totally. Yeah, everything's
But Negan
great.
senses that it's not as rosy as Rick thinks, and it's ominous because he says, you're just preparing the world for me. And I like that. I like that it was just a little bit of Negan, but it was because I was tired of him too, but it was ominous. Were you okay when you found out it was Negan, or are you like, oh God?
No, I'm actually okay with that. And now it seems like the stakes are even higher with the saviors that have walked away. So apparently 6 saviors have walked off the job and walked out of the compound. And now I'm thinking, if those 6 saviors are working together and their whole plan is to go in and get Negan, free Negan, they could do that. They could absolutely do that. And everybody,
and there may be more.
Oh yeah, and everybody's guard is down. They're not expecting it. I mean, Negan was basically telegraphing the whole thing, but now I'm worried, and that's good because that ups the drama of it all. It's not just they're out building a bridge. They are actually now out building a bridge, trying to hold things together. And I'm like, oh shit, those saviors are going to come and it's going to be a real problem.
And there's the whole thing of like I think the central conflict right now between Rick and Maggie, actually, because Michonne is trying to tell Maggie, well, we need common laws. And Maggie's like, okay, maybe I'll accept that, but I'm not going to give up my, that if I think something
authority
is different, then I'll,
Right.
And I think the main thing is whether or not Negan should live. That's where the main disagreement is with her and Rick. And maybe people like us are like, yeah, there should be law and order, and it's good that he's just locked up forever. But then we're like, oh fuck, what if he gets out?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
What if he gets busted out.
And you know he's going to. They can't keep him locked up forever. So what are you going to do? I am not happy about this. I'm like, oh, man, this is.
You think he should just kill him?
I mean, that kind of goes against who I am, but in a way, you know, this isn't a real universe. So in this comic book universe, yeah, I do.
It's real. The comic book is so interesting. What happens with Negan, and I think you would be surprised at it, but I don't know if the show is going to follow that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really interesting, though. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So you mentioned the Saviors, and I think the first reaction to them mentioning that Saviors have walked off the job and Daryl being like, that's just what they do, is that oh yeah, they're just walking away. They don't like doing the work. Like this one asshole guy who I didn't even bother learning his name, so I'll just call him asshole Savior guy.
The one who pushed Henry.
Yeah.
Justin.
He it's like you kind of think, oh yeah, there's a bunch of them like that just don't want to do the work and leave. But then you find out that, Sanctuary sent ethanol to Hilltop in exchange for food, and it never got there. And it's like, well, if they are hungry, you'd think they would bring it, and get the food. So that's a little weird. And then Alden says some Saviors never got home and they had family there, that they wouldn't just up and leave them. So that's a little weird. And then we see asshole Savior guy at the end get accosted by someone that he knows.
Yep. Right?
He recognizes. So all of those clues to me tell me that something different is going on with the Saviors.
Something big. Yep. Yeah. I agree.
What is it?
I don't know.
Bears. No, I don't know.
It's probably bears.
Probably has to do with bears.
Zombie bears.
Hyper intelligent zombie bears.
Seems likely.
So that's what's the mystery is set up, and I don't really know what. Well, I have some suspicion based on the comic that it might have to do with something, but it's based on the comic, so I won't say. But still, this is not in the comic, so I don't really know what the hell's going on.
Can I say one other thing? I like that.
Yeah.
Rick says people choose to be together. That was one of the things that people are coming together. They choose to be together. Not all of them, but enough. It's human nature to come together. And I thought it was hilarious because one of the things that happens is undead humans come together and form a horde. And bad things have happened. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I guess people do want to come together.
Some groups of humans you would rather did not get together.
Right, exactly. Have decided to come together. It's what people do.
Oh, okay. My number 5 on a completely different note. Maybe it is the same note. Romance and couples. That has to do with coming together.
Yeah, baby.
What do you think of Ezekiel and Carol in this episode?
So great. So incredibly great. I love that she asked about the ring and he wants to get down on his knees.
Yeah, I wrote a speech. I'm sure you did. And you can read it to me later.
It is so great.
Yeah, and then he has a big smile, and it's really nice because she's just really easing into her yes, but it really does seem like a yes. And I think one area where Kari Payton excels among the many areas that he excels is having a big giant smile on his face.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that really got me. And I don't know, man. I feel I want to see more of them together because I'm just not used to them as a couple, but I love it.
I do too. And I also like the fact that they seem to be a family unit with Henry, which is kind of great. Except that King Ezekiel was telling Henry, you should be proud of this bridge. You can tell your grandchildren how it was built. And I was like, dude, have you not watched this show? The minute you start talking about that, you're sentencing Henry to death.
Yeah, he's all, and yet I smile. But I like that Henry was like, I'm not going to tell my grandchildren about a boring bridge.
Right, exactly.
That's what a
Grown
kid
up.
would say. And but I liked, then he walks off, or maybe it was a little later, and Carol's like, did he get taller? I think he's taller. And Ezekiel's like, he'll be off to college before we know it. It's so cute. So then there's a very different couple, I would say, is
Yes.
Anne and Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Surprise.
the thing about Anne / Jadis is one of the moments that really was electrifying in her Jadis persona is whenever she flirted with Rick. You know, you just felt like a heat there, I thought. And I wonder if the writers are like, man, she's really good at flirting. So now she's like flirting hardcore with Gabriel.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It's kind of great. It's so cute. They're talking, and he's like, hey, I'm not a Catholic priest, man. I'm Episcopal.
She didn't seem to care anyway. I mean, she was already flirting before she figured that out.
It's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Kind of the rules are out the window.
But I love it. I'm like, you go get it. It's so great. I love that he says something like, I'm supposed to be on watch. And she's like, then
watch this.
watch.
Yeah, then watch. Yeah. Right. That's so cute. But it is also serious. Like, no, seriously. Like, we need to watch. Or else it would be like a horror movie.
I was very happy for those nicer moments in the episode.
Yeah.
Felt
Yeah.
balanced.
Like, I think you and I have been a little bit, I don't know, maybe not, but like, maybe Walking Dead isn't the show for romance because they're in this fight or flight mode. But I guess it makes sense now that they're really focusing on going beyond being afraid of Zeds and just rebuilding a new world and civilization, that they would also start exploring romance again. And I thought it worked really well.
I did too. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, the frog mating was cute. And then I was like, well, do Gabriel and Anne, that seems like a weird couple. Do they make sense? And then I thought about it. And well, they even talked about it in the episode. They both were outsiders, and they both betrayed the shit out of Rick, especially Anne. But so did Gabriel. Like when they first got to Alexandria, and he went to Deanna and said, these guys are crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Remember
about that.
Like totally after they helped him so much, and then he turned on them. So they both have this history of being traitors, but now they're hopefully good. Although I did think it was interesting that Anne is trying to get out of him who this woman is that he had her draw. And then Gabriel's like, we don't talk about your past, but mine's fair game. And she goes, you can ask me about my past, just don't ask me to tell you my secrets. And I'm like, yeah, this is how I'm going to get you to tell me everything about you. And yet I'll somehow make it seem reasonable that you don't get to ask about me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, that's pretty dim. I did like though that she seemed to be we knew she was an artist, but those portraits that are in Maggie's office, I think were painted by Anne.
Yeah. So there's Glenn and Herschel and I think Maggie probably, and maybe some other members of her family.
She never met those people though.
Yeah, but they have pictures.
I guess
Maggie burned the last picture.
She burned the
she
picture.
knew that she would always be with Glenn forever. Maybe
We even
somebody else had a picture of him.
We even talked about. I remember talking about it when she burned that picture. I'm like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
you are sealing
he's
your
now
fate
going to
there."
get smashed in the head with a bat or something, probably. Anyways, so but just that secret thing, I think, is the point of that was to show that Anne, even though she seems to have integrated with the group somewhat, she still has some secrets that she's kept this whole time.
Perhaps helicopter-related secrets.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay, number 4.
Okay, so actually, romance was my number 4 also. So we covered that.
Okay, my number 4 is getting back to civilization and the mechanics of rebuilding, and we have talk about trade. Ezekiel mentioned bullets from Alexandria, grain from Hilltop. fish from Oceanside, and we know ethanol from Sanctuary. So it's like these are the major exports of these different areas. I feel like they're really mapping the whole situation onto current day, politics and just the way that
trade
society works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also Eugene's talking about this levee expiring 6 to 9 days based on spring runoff. So they're building in supports and all this stuff. I mean, we already talked about this. Rick has Georgie's book, and apparently he's using it as a template for all this stuff.
The key to the future.
And there's also manipulating these herds. And again, I feel like they're naming them like tornadoes. I think Rosita said Horatio's going to pass us by, but it'll be close. So I think
it is like a tornado.
Yeah, herd Horatio. And then, anyways, then they're going to like manipulate them with sound. And Rick talking about in that speech you mentioned, not fighting just to survive anymore. We're making a new beginning. He says to Negan, we're getting back a piece of who we used to be, how things were before all this. That reminded me of this speech that he gave to Carl when Carl was out cold after he got shot in the eye that night in Alexandria, and Rick was sitting at his bedside. So I have that. I'm going to play it because it's just so good. Here we go.
But today, I saw what they could do. What we could do if we work together. We'll rebuild the walls. We'll expand the walls. There'll be more. There's got to be more. Everything Deanna was talking about is possible. It's all possible. I see that now. When I was out there with them, and it was over, when I knew we had this place again, I had this feeling. It took me a while to remember what it was, because I haven't felt it since before I woke up in that hospital bed. I want to show you the new world, Carl. I want to make it a reality for you. Please, Carl. Let me show you.
That's all.
Aww.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get to really show him. But it also reminds us that, that the seed of that really started then. And now we're seeing the fruits of it, where it is coming to resemble the old world a little bit more. And, we just talked about the romance. That's one aspect of it for sure.
Yep. When you have a little downtime, you can thoughts turn to birds and the bees.
Poetry, yeah. Okay, number 3.
Okay, so the zombie horde. You mentioned Horatio. I love the zombie horde, the whole sequence of events. And it's good to know that there are still, once again, real stakes in Zombieland. I loved that Rick unleashed the logs that rolled down and smashed them.
Yeah. And when that first happened, I was like, oh, this is a little gratuitous, but then it was so cool.
It was great. And the fact that he shot the rope that held them together. So Rick being a sharpshooter, that's right, he's a cop.
Yeah. Dude, for one and only reason to watch Fear the Walking Dead this season is, have you heard of this character, John Dory? You saw him in the premiere.
Episode 1. Mm-hmm.
You would love this guy. And I think that could possibly make this show for you, because he's this cowboy, simple with heart, but he's a sharpshooter. So anyway, you
That's
just made me think of that.
great. Yes. John Dory, please come over and have a crossover with The Walking Dead. I would like that very much.
I bet it'll happen.
I was very sad though because Aaron ended up losing his arm, and that is a tough blow. To be one-armed in the zombie apocalypse with a baby, that's rough. And Aaron was talking earlier about how the baby is still a baby in diapers. Oh, it's got to be hard to change a baby with one arm. So he needs help. And I was thinking, you know who could help him? Jesus could help him. I think Jesus needs to come over.
Wait, which Jesus?
Well, both.
Either, okay.
Yeah.
But you're
yeah.
talking about.
I'm talking about that pretty long-haired guy over at Hilltop needs to get him his butt over there and partner up with Aaron and help raise that child. And also, Aaron was heroic in that he told them when he was trapped, he told them, leave and, save yourselves.
Yeah, and I thought they might. I was like, oh shit, this could be it for Aaron.
And it was not.
Did you think that?
No, I didn't. Because it's Aaron.
Dude, Glenn, Herschel.
Yeah,
why is Aaron any different from
because
those guys?
They haven't telegraphed his death yet.
Oh, okay. There you go. He had no soliloquy.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I love being alive. I have something to live for now. You know that's a mark of death.
I just thought, I guess I was kind of thinking the show is a little different now, and so who knows what to expect, and maybe this is
true.
it, But anyway.
Well, he may still not live. I mean,
I think he will. I think we got faked out.
Well, now we have Dr. Enid. So speaking about logistics and training for the future, they were very, very smart by having her trained to be a doctor with Sadiq. She even wrote her own little medical manual, which is great. And apparently there's a chapter on what to do with somebody with a crushed arm because she flipped right to the chapter and it was like, nope, cut it off. Arm's got to go. Lean in, girl. It's so good. So she managed to keep it together. Probably, though, she is a spy, and this is all just a really long game.
It's all part of the plan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the one who disabled the solar panels so that the audio horn wouldn't work and Asshole Savior guy couldn't divert the herd.
Yes.
She's caused
super
Aaron
long
to
con.
lose his arm.
Well done, Enid.
I think, this whole thing has been about Aaron's arm. No, it's cool that, they have been an interesting, they've had a friendship, they've had several scenes together and they're great, I think. And now she's the one who needs to amputate his arm. I thought it was a little ridiculous that she was like, oh, we need to amputate, as if she's, I don't know, she seemed a little certain about that for an intern.
It was in the chapter.
Who's been on the job for like 2 days.
Okay,
it was in the book. Okay. But anyway, I still liked it. And I actually paired them together for a panel, and now it's going to make even more sense. So that's cool.
Really? Enid and Sadiq?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
No, Enid, Sadiq, and Aaron, I think, are all in the panel.
What? Oh, that's perfect.
I had already done that before, too. It's like a psychic premonition. But, man, that is the most gruesome arm injury I may have ever seen anywhere.
Yeah, it was gross.
Just got smashed. I mean, it looked pretty impressive for special effects wise.
Those special effects guys keep it coming.
And Sadiq had to leave because there's a bug going around in Alexandria, so Rick sent him off.
Go get sick, Sadiq.
And then Rick said to Aaron at one point, I'm so sorry this happened to you, which he has said a couple of times early on in the show to Bicycle Girl. Remember her?
Yeah.
And then to somebody else, I forget who, but then we had him say it when he was on our podcast. He said, "You're listening to the Walking Dead cast. I'm so sorry this happened to you." And then Andrew Lincoln laughed after he had him say that.
I forgot about that. Dang, so you should have that. You should find that clip.
I know, huh? I'll play it again sometime. Anything else about that?
Nope.
Okay. Where are we? Number 3, Maggie. So I thought it was really cool to watch Maggie wrestle with all these problems she's having as a leader, and Lauren Cohan continues to just knock it out of the park as someone who I wouldn't have thought could easily step into that role, but now I completely believe it.
Yep.
And I even just forgetting about like the craft of acting or building a show or whatever, but just getting into like, what if I was in this world? I think I would have been shocked that Maggie killed Gregory without consulting anyone, but now she's trying to temper her harsher instincts.
Yep.
And she sees that Earl, well, I think it actually kind of helped Earl that he's an alcoholic because her dad was.
That's exactly right.
Maybe
That's
isn't so
exactly
fair. What if he was a coke addict? Would that be different? Who knows? But anyways, so she ends up actually, even though she didn't get the ethanol, she still agrees to send all the food to Sanctuary, which seems to be the reasonable thing because they don't yet know what happened. So she'll live up to her end and try to figure out what happened. And she also lets Earl out, but he'll be supervised and he'll work to pay his debt, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't have blamed her for not doing that.
Right. But the fact
He tried
was,
to kill her.
Yeah, he did 100%, absolutely. But I love that. I was worried they were going to turn her into some sort of one-dimensional kind of cartoon character, but they didn't.
But not. Yeah.
They gave her some remarkable depth, and I was so happy about that. I don't cry easily on this show, but I got teary-eyed when she was talking to Earl about, talking to Michonne about Herschel. And, it was nice. And also when Jesus said that, good people disagree.
Yeah.
The whole arc of this show with Maggie, I was like, that is great. There's some good writing, great acting. And I like where they're taking that story. I think that's great. It's also interesting that she referred to Georgie. She talked to Georgie about Georgie.
Yeah. And Georgie keeps trying to convince her, I guess, to go live with her or something.
And it made me think, is that where they're going to go with Lauren Cohen's character? Maybe that's where Maggie goes.
Well, here's what I think. This is total speculation, not informed by anything. Maybe right now it feels like things have calmed down. Maggie agrees there can be a common law, even though she doesn't want to give up her sovereignty, which I feel like maybe they could have a thing that's similar to federal and state law, where each community can have their own unique laws, but then there'll be like a federal, the really important things that everyone has to agree on. But anyways, that the conflict between her and Rick will return, and maybe she'll accidentally end up killing him and then go off in shame. I don't know, though. That would be important.
No.
But how is she going to leave in a way that makes us feel good?
And freaking no. She's leaving. This is I'll bet you a beer over it. She's leaving with Georgie, and Georgie is somehow going to convince her that going with her to be an apostle of the key to the future. It's all about that. Plus, Georgie has a great record collection by now.
Well, I'm saying, I think if she did leave in shame, that would be a place for her to go, because I'm like, where could she go that would make sense?